Good afternoon, happy Inktober. How are you doing? I hope you're doing well. The end is definitely in sight now, and honestly, I am pretty ready for this challenge to be over. I think it would have been a lot easier if I wasn't doing so much content production for like YouTube and TikTok, but I do really like it, and I think it's going to be lovely to look back on and have the entire art challenge recorded. And I think it's going to be something that I definitely feel proud of so far. So I really appreciate it if you've been watching along. I really appreciate that so much. And for today's idea, the prompt was snack. And honestly, I typed it in on Pinterest and I saw this picture come up, which I absolutely loved. So I wanted to try and recreate it. I practiced drawing some taps and some spaghetti, but you might have guessed it. It's a kind of surreal piece. I think it might have been digital art. It probably was digital, like it's not real. And it's a sink, like a tap, and out of it is spaghetti onto a plate. And I thought this one, honestly, I was like, well, if I don't do it well, if I don't put the effort in and don't do it well, it could look really weird. It could just look like I'm drawing like a sink and it just didn't go well, and I just can't draw water properly. So I had to like put the effort in to really try and make it look like spaghetti. But honestly, this one I was really satisfied with. So I got my dip pen out. I got the smallest dip pen I have, and I did the sink, and then I made a start on the spaghetti. And at the beginning I was a little bit like, is this going to work? Is this the right technique to do? But honestly, it really quickly just kind of pieced together, and I'm really happy with how this one turned out. I really like this one. I think it looks really quite crisp when it's done. It looks quite smooth and finished, which I really like. So honestly, explaining how I did this piece, this is the majority of the piece. It took a long while. Like at the beginning, it was really relaxing. So I basically did like individual spaghetti strands that like come from the tap, and then they go into the bowl, and then they go round and round and round. And for about 80 to 90% of the spaghetti, honestly, they are genuine like pieces of spaghetti. You pick one and you follow it, and it loops and loops and loops. But then I got to like the final 10% and I was like, this is taking forever. I'm kind of losing my mind. So I just did like random pieces to fill the gaps. But the majority of the spaghetti, if you follow one spaghetti, it will just continue going. And I think that really helps make it look good, I think, because I feel like if I just did that final 10% like all over, if I just did random this line ends, just like little random ends, that it wouldn't have that kind of flow. It wouldn't look as much like spaghetti as it does. Because the spaghetti actually loops and loops and you can just follow one all the way around the bowl, I think that really helped this one look pretty good and professional, if I do say so myself. I think it looks pretty crisp, honestly. I think this is probably like the most crisp one that I've done so far. And also, like a round of applause, I didn't dip my hand in it. I didn't make it all smudged. That was great. So it ended up being, it looks kind of dark, even though it's completely white on the inside just by the sheer amount of lines that there are. So I didn't want to end up painting over the spaghetti because I thought we're just going to completely lose all the contrast. But it actually looks like spaghetti. I've considered adding meatballs. I kind of planned to add meatballs at the beginning, but by the time I did all the spaghetti, I thought, you know what, it looks like spaghetti. I don't think it needs it. I was only going to add meatballs if it really didn't look like spaghetti. That was my plan. So I'm not very happy with the dish that it's in though. I've done a few dishes up till now and they just do not look like plates. I don't know if it's because I'm doing it with such like a wobbly hand and I'm not actually like trying to perfect it. I just do random lines. That's probably it. But the dishes don't look like dishes. I feel like they should be completely round and they're not. They're really quite jaggedy. And you can see like the left side is a lot smaller than the right side, and that's because, I don't know, no matter how many plates that I draw, I just can't do them very well. So I decided to add some darker areas. I thought that the dish would kind of have shadow underneath, so I decided to do that, a really dark opaque kind of colour. I also decided to do the tap kind of dark, but then I sort of went back on it. I wanted to add semi-opaque India ink. I felt like it needed to have slightly darker areas to actually bring some kind of contrast, because I knew that the background I wanted to be white. But then I actually went back on it and used tissue paper and brush to lift a lot of the ink up. I kind of changed my mind. So in the end, I decided to only do really dark on the bottom of the tap, I guess, the bit where all the spaghettis come out. Because the spaghetti's white, I felt like that needed to be dark, and I ended up doing it on the underneath of the dish as well. So I'm really happy with this piece. This is the final look. I hope you like it. Thank you so much for watching. Please consider subscribing if you did enjoy it. I would love if you could, and I'll be here for the rest of Inktober. I'll see you then. Bye bye.